New World in 2022. Oh boy. There's been a lot of conversation about this game. A lot of people talking about New World. Before I do anything, I will go and I'll look and see how the game is doing. So New World has actually had a pretty good amount of players. As you guys can see, it's actually been going up. If you look at the graph here, it's gone up quite a good margin. Like if you go from, like you look at, that's like a 15,000 player gain. And I mean, that's like almost half the players, like 30%, 20, 30%. It's a lot more. Yeah, look at the dive. It was really fun. Like you guys, if you played the game back then, you would know why this happened.
New World, the game that in 2021 provided the MMO.
Do y'all remember that? So basically, people were able to they were able to copy and put these giant pictures of sausages in the chat, and then like nobody was doing it, and then as soon as one person started doing it, everyone was like, "Wait, what the fuck?" And everybody started spamming sausages. Man, that shit was so funny.
Community with some of the most entertaining meme material in years. I played the crap out of this game at launch, but like 90% of the player base didn't stick around past the first 2 months.
Yeah.
New World's endgame back at launch just wasn't good, and if I was to explain why, this intro would drag on for 5 minutes.
Yes, it would.
In April 2022, I returned to the game to see what improvements had been made, check out the latest content, and meme on the game a little bit more.
Of course.
To my surprise though, after I made the New World KEKW video, I actually stuck around, and I've been playing it somewhat consistently ever since. Back during my full review for New World, I said that I always expected it to be a game that will pull an ESO on us, in the sense that it was a disaster at launch, but over the years with many updates would improve to eventually be a solid MMO.
I think that really one thing about New World as well is that the updates and all of the changes and stuff like that, they're free. So you don't have to pay any extra money. I think that's probably one of the biggest selling points with New World right now, is the fact that it's a buy-to-play game with no subscription and no pay-to-win. So you just play the game, you buy the game once, you never have to buy it again. So that makes it a lot easier for, like, let's say all the people that bought the game originally and then quit because it was garbage, they can come back and there's no barrier to entry there except for downloading the game again. That's it. They don't have to do anything. That's
now
huge.
Almost 1 year since the initial launch, New World might have actually turned a corner. For the past 2 months, the game has seen significant growth in its player base, and has fully stopped bleeding players from its launch issues.
We saw the numbers.
Plus 24% in August, and plus 15% so far in September, ever since the news broke about the game's first major expansion, which is right around the corner. Brimstone Sands. This completely free expansion brings with it a massive new desert zone which is said to contain 3 zones worth of content. The highly anticipated Great Sword...
I mean, we went into there and I would agree it does have 3... It's as big as 3 zones at least. Does it have 3 zones worth of content? I don't know how you measure that, but it was huge.
Weapon, new quests, new dungeons, a complete revamp to the new player experience, town redesigns, more variety with enemy types, and a lot more. This is in addition to New World fixing a lot of its launch problems already, adding 3v3 arena, better endgame progression, a group finder, and multiple new dungeons. In this video, we're going to talk about the new expansion, head over to...
And also getting rid of the... So, like, basically at the beginning of New World, you had to actually use... You had to, like, spend gold, and it was quite expensive to do this. You had to spend gold and get what was called a tuning orb, which was like a key to do a dungeon. Like, imagine Mythic Plus keys, but you use it and then it's over. And it made doing dungeons so fucking contrived, because you had people that would make the key, and then you would have to spend gold to get into doing a dungeon. Like, there weren't even free dungeon runs. You had to spend like 1,000 gold, 2,000 gold to get an invite into a dungeon. It was so stupid. And like, everybody said this in the beta too, by the way. Like, I don't want anybody to think like, oh, well, why didn't you guys say that? Yeah, everybody did.
PTR to check out the revamp, and I'll hopefully help you figure out if this is a game worth giving another chance. But first, sponsor. Geralt and Yennefer from The Witcher 3 have just arrived to AFK Arena, AFK Arena is an idle RPG and hero collector available on Android and iOS. This is a game that I've personally been playing for about 2 years now. I've got most of the heroes in the game, I'm in a top 100 guild, and after trying other idle RPGs, I like this one the most due to its unique art style, generous events for free-to-play players, as well as fun mini-games such as Shadow Invasions, Forest Mania, Abyssal Expedition, and Misty Valley. Right now, AFK Arena is having its biggest collab yet, this time with The Witcher 3, which means you can now recruit 2 of the most iconic characters to your roster of heroes, Geralt of Rivia and Yennefer. These 2 heroes gain additional benefits to their abilities when part of the same formation, with Geralt taking on the continuous damage warrior role, and Yennefer being a mage that can buff allies and crowd control enemies.
That's amazing.
In the past, AFK Arena has also done collabs with Assassin's Creed, Persona 5 and Overlord, all of which brought strong heroes to the game which still see constant use. Ains and Ezio, for example, have been some of my most used heroes since they were released.
That's pretty smart that they, I'm gonna have to say, like, it is pretty fucking smart that they add in, you know, really well-known characters like, you know, fucking Overlord, Ains, and I was like, Albedo over there. You got, like, fucking Geralt and all this stuff. Yeah, it's like Fortnite, right? I mean, yeah, they just fucking take what Fortnite does and they do that. Fortnite strat, it's smart.
With the introduction of Geralt and Yennefer, that might soon change. Click the link in the description below to play AFK Arena now, and try both Geralt and Yennefer free for 3 days, and use the promo code on screen for incredible gifts. Download now. Before we jump on the PTR and check out some of the new stuff, let me give you a quick idea of how many issues New World has fixed or is in the process of fixing over the past year. This is a picture of the cons list at the end of my full review in November 2021. This is a picture of the same cons list, but with notes for everything they've fixed.
They're halfway done.
Just look at all of this stuff they've fixed.
Yeah.
You can pause the video here to get a good look and have a read.
Let's see which ones was he not sure if they fixed. Let me just go back. Automated bans for mass reports, no customer support, copy paste ticket responses. I have a feeling that's probably not completely fixed. Annoying body blocking from mobs and players. To be fair, I think that the problem was only really with players. Body blocking with NPCs was pretty much okay. And I think I would cross this one out personally. I can't make group sword. That's definitely a problem. Diminishing returns when getting mob staggered is horrible. Just everything about it is horrible. Let's see. 100 trading post listings isn't enough. No NPCs to buy your junk, setting a baseline price. That's also true. So things don't go to a floor. Low server cap for that's very true. No flex rewards for maxing a skill to 200. You have the aptitude boxes. I mean, you do have the aptitude boxes. That's a thing. Devs butchered the fishing skill rewards. I don't know if they fixed that. I don't do fishing. New player housing decoration score makes no sense. I have no fucking. I don't. Look at my house. All right. Mob AI is very easy to manipulate. Breaks certain parts of the game. Yes, I think I would actually rephrase this. Mob AI is very easy to manipulate. Breaks the game. No easy way to switch between gear sets when it's a big part of the end game. True. Very big true. Transmog only for cash shop cosmetics. What the fuck? Very true. So yes, I would say like maybe they crossed out 20 of them and not 18. But yeah, overall, I think this is pretty fair.
Out of the 32 cons I listed at the end of that review, they've already fixed or are in the process of fixing 18 of them, with a few things I'm not sure of. That's absolutely massive progress. And on top of that, they've also added the Tempest Heart Expedition, which in my opinion is one of the most visually impressive dungeons I've ever seen in an MMO.
Thank you. Fucking thank you. Because everybody said that I was on copium, or like, because so basically, New World asked me, they were like me, Shroud, and fucking Rich. They're like, did you guys want to run the new dungeon with us? It's like, yeah, sure, why not? All right, fine. So we got together and we did this on stream, and we ran through the new dungeon, and I thought it was great. And everybody was like, oh man, he's fucking paid. Like, number one, we didn't get any fucking money out of this. Number fucking two is it looked really cool. It looked awesome. So And I did have to say, though, is that the Tempest Heart Expedition was a lot like buying a $8 million mansion and filling it up with Goodwill furniture, because all the mobs were still kind of boring in the dungeon outside of a handful of different things. Like whenever you have to take like that thing and go to the cannons, that was really cool. But especially the beginning of it was like just like any other dungeon. It was super boring, in my opinion. But yeah, it does look good. I do think it looks good. So I'm glad to see LazyPeon also saying what's fucking true.
Barnacles and Black Powder Expedition, which I haven't gotten around to trying yet. They've added 3v3 Arena, the Blunderbuss and Void Gauntlet weapons, with the Great Sword right around the corner. They completely revamped the endgame progression system and added a thing called Gypsum and Expertise, which is a massive improvement over the old system.
Big good.
You no longer need keys to enter dungeons, you can just enter them and enjoy the game. They added...
Imagine being able to just play the game.
A new trade skill called Music, which is a nice social activity that brings players together with the benefit of group buffs.
I didn't expect this to be as funny as it was. Like, this shit was really, really funny. Like, you go to the town and there's some dipshit who's trying to play the song, it's wrong, and like somebody's talking shit about him, it's great.
And the economy is in a much better place now. So what we're going to do now is head over to the PTR to check out the new level 1 to 25 leveling experience, which has been completely reworked with revamped starting towns and the addition of the Greatsword. Here we are on the New World PTR to check out the new player experience. Spawned on the beach near Monarch's Bluffs, which is apparently completely different now. I'm really looking forward to exploring it. Bunch of other players checking out the PTR as well. As we're going with Greatsword, we're piling all of our stats into strength. Wholesome chat. I just want to play the new content. I love New World. Don't we all? Since day one here. Feels good, man. This area is different.
Yeah, I think that New World is one of the games, like, New World is lucky in the fact that the people that like the game actually want to see it succeed. Where it's like, in WoW, the people actually actively want WoW to die. They fucking hate WoW, they're tired of it, and they want it to be over. Like, please kill this fucking game. And people feel the same way about Lost Ark, right? Because it's got pay-to-win elements, is that people just go crazy with these games. Yeah, they hate these games. But I think New World has there are people who are indifferent or make fun of it, but I don't think that there are people that have, like, the same, like, dislike for it. Maybe at the beginning, a little bit, but not as much now. The same dislike for it, like what they had at the beginning.
I remember it. I don't remember fighting corrupted mobs on the beach back at launch. Yeah, we've already got our first amulet. Straight away, the beginner quest rewards seem different than launch. Going into another corrupted area. Wait, is this a different mob type? I don't think I've ever seen a mob that looks like this before in New World. It's like a female corrupted sailor. You know, the game struggled with mob diversity at launch. When as soon as you see a mob that looks different, you immediately notice it. Yo, what's that in the distance? It's a castle.
It's a good point.
That wasn't there before, was it? So it doesn't take long at all before you start to feel the effects of this new player experience. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's a big fucking factor, is like just making the world look better, adding in different mob types, etc. And like most games reuse mob types. It's not a big deal. Like, I mean, like in Lost Ark, they do it all the time. I mean, Egrexion is just Verdas. And then like there's also Chromanium, and they just call it lava and Kungolanium. Okay, yeah, we get it. It's the same fucking turtle.
What's this? Greatsword. Yes, please. That's what we want. Dude, look at it. It's so big, but it's clipping right through my shield. Goodbye, shield. You had a good run. How much damage does it do? Feels chonky. First ability, let's go with Crosscut. Crosscut. So during the start...
I'll have to say that I think the Greatsword swings too fast. I would like if the Greatsword did more damage per attack, but swung slower. It's really, really big. Yeah, I would just like that more. I think that would be better.
Experience, you basically find one of each weapon just laying around on the floor from various weapon chests.
Yeah, I like that. That's
so cool. You don't have to wait a long time to start training the weapon mastery that you're interested in. New ability, Relentless Rush. Let me guess, it rushes me forward. Ooh, it rushes me forward with a spin. Quest complete, level 7, new chest piece. Straight away, We're looking like an adventurer. Oh wow, if we look in the distance from here, we can see
you
the
see
new
the castle.
Monarch's Bluffs.
Yeah, see, like, that's badass, right? Like, this is the kind of stuff that the game needs to have. Is it needs to have those, like, big... And, like, this is something New World, to be fair, has always done a pretty good job with. It needs to have places that you can see in the distance that make you want to go to them.
And wow, that looks bloody epic. That's huge.
Yeah, it looks badass.
Whenever I play any MMO, I think it's cool to look in the distance and see giant castle towers.
Yeah,
it always
exactly.
gives you
It's
like
cool.
a sense of awe. And
It's like the scope of the
excitement
game.
to actually reach that city for the first time.
Exactly.
Bloody hell, the entrance of this place looks so different. Before it was like a copy-paste wooden fort, but now it's an actual castle. In before everyone moves their player housing to Monarch's Bluffs now because the buildings just look better. Quick look at the eastern exit of the city, and our first MSQ outside of Monarch's Bluff doesn't take us halfway across the map like it used to. Additionally, there's also...
And I think that's also another really big factor, is that the amount of time that players had to spend traveling was just too high. Like, in terms of, like, actual play time versus travel time, you were probably at, like, a 90-10 to, like, an 80-20 ratio with that, where you were spending 90 to 80% of your time traveling and only 10 to 20% of your time actually playing the game. Add mounts. I think that... Stop spamming, by the way. I think that they will add mounts. They said they're going to add mounts. However, I mean, I don't think that New World needed mounts until I went into the Brimstone Sands. I feel like every other zone in New World does not really need mounts. But Brimstone Sands definitely does.
So a fast travel point fairly close to where I need to go. As you can see from the map, they've also added a ton of fast travel points all throughout the world, so you can no longer call New World a walking simulator. Additionally, yes, they've also confirmed that they will add mounts in the future at some point, so I know that's something that a lot of people have been requesting pretty much since launch. And in the quest, once again, the NPC...
I think also mounts are good because it gives them a new cosmetic to sell. Right? I mean, you have mounts in the game, and then you have horse armor. I mean, fuck. That's where it started. Let's get back to the basics.
He isn't halfway across the map like they used to be, and the quest flow
I do hope, by the way,
has all made...
I hope that they don't have, like, crazy weird mounts, by the way. Like, I don't think they should have, like, some fucking crazy, badass, like, really cool-looking mount. I think that they should stick to things that are simple, like horses and camels and stuff like that. Because, like, New World does have a much... Like, it's not, like, super, super high fantasy in the way that, like, Final Fantasy is or like, Lost Ark is or something like that. So, yeah, donkeys, etc. So, I'd like to have, like, a little bit more grounded mounts with New World. At least for now.
Perfect sense. And that's level 12, absolutely blazing through the levels early on. The Great Sword's so fun to use that I'm just randomly killing mobs in the world because it's fun. That's how it should be. Got ourselves some green plate armor with some constitution. Starting to look a little bit more like a knight. What's this? Rumble on the docks. Objective started. Is this a random event? I've just come into the area and a green quest's popped up.
Is this a thing? I've never seen this happen. Are there random events in New World? I'd never even heard of this. Yes, there are. Holy shit, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad to see that. Not a lot of them? Yeah, I've never seen one
before. There's actually a ship arriving on the horizon. They've made some significant improvements to the questing.
Bro, what
I'm guessing this is like a multiplayer quest that anyone in the area just automatically picks up. A moving ship in New World before. It's the first time. Which is crazy, really, considering the theme of the game. So the boat's crashed into the dock. A few mobs have spawned. Some other players are turning up. So it's like a wave defense style thing. Captain Fyodor himself. It's cool to just go into an area and have this random quest pop up.
Yeah, that's badass. Now, the only thing that would make it better is that if after you did that, you were able to get on the ship and then sail away. So they need to add that part, hopefully sooner than later. But other than that, this is a really good start.
Really unexpected. Also helps break up the main quest quite a bit. I really hope to see more of those green quests pop up whilst I'm doing this MSQ. How cool does that look though? Great axe and great sword. Turncoat alligator. It's another different mob as well. There's so many different mobs added to the new player experience compared to what they used to be. It's nice that
I think that's the most important thing, right? Is you don't want to have people get into the game and then feel like it's garbage. Like, it's most important to make sure that early on, the game is, it catches you. I don't like this idea that MMO players have that, like, oh, you need to play the game for a long time in order to appreciate how good it is or something like that. No, that's not true. If the game cannot involve you and get you excited about it within, like, the first few hours of playing, then that's a problem with the game.
these supply caches and crates that you used to loot constantly for every quest, they've now become like an optional thing that you can choose to loot or ignore for a bit of extra coin or some crafting resources, as it should have always been. Wait, what the fuck's going on in chat? We need to make New World great again.
Oh, here we go.
Are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican?
Bro, I don't know what it is with New World, but everybody in New World wants to talk politics. I swear to God, like every single time, like it was like 3 a.m. and you go to the, you go look at global chat, they're talking about like, bro, this COVID thing, hey, I'm just saying, you can't believe everything that you see. I saw a Facebook post, here, let me link it. And yeah, it's nuts, man. Pandemic, you mean plandemic, yep.
What are they talking about? Do you support Trump? I'm playing on the...
Yes, I think Donald Trump, if you combine all conversations in New World, Donald Trump is probably within the top 5. And that includes, like, who wants to do different dungeons, like the state of the game. Like, yes, Donald Trump is in the top 5.
EU servers, what are they talking about? I can't wait to join Outpost Rush once this update goes live.
So wait a second. This is on the EU servers, so, like, thank God. I'm really glad to see that. So, like, Europeans get involved with this stupid shit, too. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm really glad to see that.
Everyone is going to be using a greatsword,
yeah,
including myself.
You guys get.
Usually I play a healer in New Worlds, but I ain't healing greatsword meta. No way. This thing's going to be so OP at launch. I ain't dealing with that. It seems like I need to parkour my way inside this temple. I love the way all of these rocks are placed. So you actually need to do a bit of jumping and climbing. Playing to the strengths of the game, really.
Imagine
Wait, I'm going to have to navigate through lasers. Here the game's actually making me utilize the crouching and crawling system.
Oh, that's badass.
Something it never did during the old leveling experience.
It did, actually. There was the Starstone Expedition that had this exact same feature. However, it was much more isolated into just that. But yes.
Except for that one time during a dungeon called Starstone Barrows.
True. Very true. True.
Pridaloo Farms. Wait, what? There's a random castle here in this farming area.
Oh, what the fuck?
Well, that's certainly new.
That's badass.
Sticks out in the environment like a sore thumb, though, doesn't it?
It's just sitting there.
It's kind of crazy, really, but this random questing area that they've added in the world
this is cool.
Is a better castle than the fortress you defend in Territory Wars. The layout of it's more interesting.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
It's bigger, it looks more epic. This looks like the kind of place that you want to defend for a territory war. So hopefully at some point the devs also give a little bit of love to the fortresses. I remember back at launch, it always used to feel good when you'd see some iron ore in the world. Because it was...
Yeah, because it was more valuable than any other ore because the economy was totally fucking broken.
So hotly contested.
Yeah.
Big bottleneck material for crafters a while ago.
Yeah, remember that?
Deadman's Cove used to be a group grind spot, so let's see if they've actually
for
revamped
like leveling
this
weapon
at all.
skill and shit.
Yeah, I think so. Level 17 mobs. All of the mobs here used to be level 25 elites, and this used to be the best spot in the game for grinding weapon XP, but now it's been reworked to be just a normal low-level POI. I'm kinda glad, to be honest, because I spent hours upon hours grinding out all of my weapons to level 20 here, and I still have...
I never did that shit. Like, I only, like, I leveled my hatchet up to 20, and I got my swords up to 20, and, oh yeah, fire staff and ice gauntlet up to 20, and that was about it. Yep, fuck that.
A little bit of PTSD over this location. This new player experience actually gives quest rewards with relevant stats on it. Like in the past, quest rewards were terrible. You would get a rapier with a completely useless stat, for example, like a rapier with focus, something that doesn't scale with the weapon at all. And this was constant throughout the old leveling experience, but seems as though they've fixed that now. Seems like they've fixed pretty much everything that I used to have a problem with, to be honest. Wholesome comment in the chat. Completely forgot how good the game is. It's nice to see a bit of positivity around New World for once, after months and months of the game being memed on and people just shitting on it constantly.
Well, that's what happens, right? Is like, the reason why it was getting memed on and shit on is because they were just so, like, fucking, like, they had just hunkered down and they're like, listen, we're gonna fucking make it the way that we want. And then everybody was like, stop it. And they're like, no. And then they quit and they're like, all right, fine. We're gonna get rid of all the stuff you don't like. And so, yeah, now people are happy about the game. As I said, I played, and it's funny to me because, like, I can go back and watch my YouTube video about watching New World, playing New World for the first time, and this is, like, back in fucking, like, 2 years ago, whenever they did preview, and actually, not half, 90% of the problems that I brought up in the original video were not fixed after a year and a half on release.
Props to Amazon Game Studios for 1, not making the game pay to win after an entire year, and 2, continuing to update the game and make improvements, not just giving up on it. Defeat Sir Gawain. He's defended by knights. They've dropped fire on my head, okay. Wasn't expecting that.
That's really cool.
Finally, we've ascended to the top, and what awaits us is a boss battle. Sir Gawain. I guess this is like the climax of the main story of this zone. Once again, another unique mob. He actually has boss mechanics. Now let's finish him off. Kill him. You what? Mate, I've got to run so far, there's no way. It's time to get serious. Round 2. Do I need to
he actually got his ass beat by this guy. Holy shit. Dude, imagine, like, this never happens in the game.
This altar?
Yeah, it's
I think I do. Maybe that's where I made the mistake the last time. I didn't break his altar. Boss dead. Collect his treasure. Just to reiterate the point I made
I think a lot of the, like, collision mechanics in the game are, like, really fucky. Like, you, like, clip through and, like, against, like, basically, like, the, like, player collision with other players, with NPCs. I actually think player collision with the environment is relatively good. But player collision with, like, NPCs and other players is very not good. Very, very fucky. Yes. I was thinking, like, what's the word for it? And I'm like, fucky. Yeah, that's basically where we're at.
Earlier about fortresses in this game. This is a quest-related POI in the world. Big, giant, fortified castle. This is the fortress of which guilds fight over to control the entire territory. Feels a little bit weird. Maybe they should update the fortresses too. Can we kill a bison before it runs away? True test of greatsword damage.
You got lucky because he hit him in the back.
I just hit 900 damage.
Let's be honest.
As a level 18. Greatsword OP. I've heard that New World is eventually planning on adding swimming, by the way. So that's another meme about this game that will soon be dead. So this is New Everfall. It looks a lot different. To be fair though, I never disliked old Everfall, but yeah, this is completely different. Every building is a different style.
I was lost. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Gotta be honest, I'm not sure about New Everfall. I feel like a lot of these buildings just look incredibly out of place. If any city was fine to stay as it was, I'd say it was probably Everfall. Maybe I'm wrong though, maybe some of
I think that they might be going towards, it seems like they're going towards a more, like, the game, in my mind, it felt like the game was, like, in terms of the, I'm trying to remember, like, how big it would really be. In terms of, like, the years in which this game kind of had, like, its technology, it's like, you know, 1500 to, like, 1800. And I think that now they've added in a lot more, like, medieval type stuff as well, because I think the reality is, like, people just like seeing castles and they think castles look cool. But I thought a lot of the towns, like the aesthetic of the towns was kind of cool. I didn't mind the aesthetic. It's just that they were repeated so often. Yeah, yeah, it was colonial era like design.
You guys will like it. I think the reason why it looks off is due to the scale of the buildings in here. Like you got, this is the city hall, it looks huge. This is the church. And then you've got these buildings, which just look like the scale's off when placed next to these structures. Level 20.
Yeah.
And with that I've unlocked 3v3
a little bit.
arenas.
It's not a big deal,
So
but
once
yeah.
you get to level 25, where you would previously have the first dungeon quest, you've actually got two options now. You can take a solo quest to achieve the same result, or you can just do the dungeon and take the group option. I'm all for that. Some players don't like grouping and just want to play solo. So giving them the option, sure, why not? More options is
I think that's probably a good idea. Like having dungeons required in the MSQ is, I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially whenever you have the group finder now. I don't like the idea that a player should never be expected to do any social activities in an MMO. I think that's kind of what the difference is in my mind between like MMOs versus like just like large single player, like PoE for example, or like Diablo 4. It seems is that in Diablo 4 you have other players around you, but there's never a point where you need those other players. Now maybe they could augment your gameplay in something that's nice or unique, but there are no like group challenges that are designed and that require groups.
Good. So as far as I'm aware, this is the last revamped quest. They revamped everything from level 1 to 25, but they've yet to do like 25 to 60. The devs do plan on updating the entire leveling experience, but this is what we've got so far. There's supposed to be a boss spawn here. We'll wait 5 minutes, see if he spawns. If not, we're going to call it there for the new player questing experience, then head...
It was, the respawn took forever, by the way. The respawn took forever a year ago. And it was a big problem. Everybody complained about it. That specific mob.
To the northwest to see if we can check out Brimstone Sands.
Okay.
No, it seems like we need to wait until the next PTR update. With the MSQ concluded for now, let's head north. Any mob attacks me, I'm just going to get one shot probably.
Oh, he can't go over there, yeah.
Okay, so if you
enter like we went over there
Brimstone Sands,
yesterday.
that's what happens. You just your health just
it's
sucks
done.
down and you're dead. I guess that's gonna do it for our PTR exploration for now. Over here on the live servers, quick look at the progress of my character. As you can see, I've got every weapon to level 20 except the blunderbuss, so it's my goal before the next update to max this out. Quick look at the trade skills. I've got a lot of things at...
Let's see, weaponsmithing at 100, furnishing at 200. This guy played the game a lot, okay? Like, yeah, it's a long fucking time, and everything else obviously has got pretty much all leveled up too. Like, I actually don't have Arcana. I think I'm missing like two more at 200. Everything else I have is at 200.
200. I haven't really gotten into music yet, so that's something that I want to check out soon. Got my fishing to level 200, which took forever. Still need to max out weaponsmithing, engineering, and jewel crafting. As for my gear, I think I've got everything except for the blunderbuss to level 600 expertise. The way I've been playing New World over the past few months has been super casual. I'll log in, chop some trees, get the 3 hidden stashes,
and then quit the game.
The gathering, get 3 diamond gypsum within the space of like a minute, and then I can craft a gypsum ore pretty much every single day just for opening the game, and then sometimes I'll do a bit of PvP and get a bit of gypsum that way. Just been making steady progress over a long period of time, really. Let's try and do this music thing because I've never done it before and I want to see how it works.
All my shit's at 600. Like, the thing is, I didn't really do a lot of professions. I only leveled up 1 profession. Like, yeah, everything I've got is at 600. I think that I didn't do the blunderbuss because I don't give a fuck about the blunderbuss. It's stupid. Why would I want to level up a stupid weapon? It doesn't make any sense.
I've got a song and I've got a mandolin. Although this is a 5-person song.
It's fun.
Let's give it a try. Okay.
No.
So, it's like Guitar Hero. It's a good thing I was a big Guitar Hero fan. It's actually kind of fun. It's like the perfect skill to train whilst you're waiting for other people to arrive at the dungeon. Oh, now I'm level 1 music. Let's go. And now and collect tips.
I can't fucking
How much
do
for
this
a tier
shit.
5 guitar? bloody
Yeah.
expensive. Everyone wants to be a guitarist.
Somebody gave me one of
Typical.
those.
Citizens of Windswood, are you ready to make art with me? I mean, it's only appropriate that we do the Windswood Inn. I'm going to be on the drums, though. Select difficulty. Ooh, can I put it up? Ooh, okay. Expert. Come on, get in here. Someone wanting to join on the bass? It's going to be magical. 3, 2, 1. Fuck it, let's just go. Oh, this is a bit harder. Oi! Guitar Hero with New World. I love it.
That's pretty
That's
good.
given me a buff. Bass gathering speed increased by 75% for 60 minutes from a musical performance.
I have to say that I will still say that I think that the Final Fantasy one is better because you can do your own songs. The fact that you can go and do your own songs is, I think, even cooler than being able to play them on your own. Like, I think that they should make it to where you can do your own songs as well. Like, I don't think that the New World one is just, like, worse, like, and that's it. No, you just have to add that in. I bet that's coming. I hope so. Because that's one of the coolest things about Final Fantasy is being able to, you know, see, like, the bards. I remember, like, Rich had, like, these, I think they're called, like, the songbirds, come to his FC, which is, like, his guild house. And I, like, sat there and listened to them play, like, different music and, like, different songs. It was really cool.
I got a 5 gold tip. Let's go. Dude, that was great. I enjoyed that. Well, I know what I'm going to be spending most of my time doing whilst I'm waiting for the next New World update.
The next morning.
So it's a few days later on the New World's PTR, and we're now finally
now
able
this
to
is
make
the
level
actual
60
game, yeah.
characters to check out the
You can
new
open a new
Brimstone
zone.
Sands zone. Ooh, hello. Oh, spawned inside
What
of a
the
lady.
fuck?
I've never actually played as a max level on the PTR before. The game's just given me access to everything.
Everybody does that.
Kind of fun. Start outpost rush. Okay, definitely down for an outpost rush. Everyone's just going to be using the greatsword, but that sounds hilarious. I ain't seeing anyone without... Well, there's one guy. There's the one healer. The one hero that we need. Let's go, boys. Switch to the greatsword. Big damage. Oh! It's an absolute bloodbath. Let's wait for him to group up, and we're going to go in, and we're going to spin to win. Spin! Oh, spin! There's a reason I don't play melee DPS in New World.
I have a, like, you cannot show anybody that clip, and then after that, they think to themselves, wow, that looks good. That looks pretty good. I gotta try this game out. Like, I would say that 1v1s, like, I've watched a lot of New World PvP videos with 1v1s. They're actually really cool. But this group combat shit? Ooh, I don't know about that.
Enough outpost rush for me. Here it is. So this is the new Halloween event boss.
What the
What the
fuck?
hell are these things? So we need to kill these pumpkin monsters to summon the main boss. Wow, that's a cool looking
Wait,
boss.
what the
Don't know if
fuck?
we've got enough to defeat him. We can try. Oh, I need to loot these pumpkin heads.
Holy
Throw
shit.
them at him? Easier said than done, really, isn't it?
Oh my-
That did some damage.
That's
that
insane.
contributed. Wait, we failed, and he's just disappeared. Lesson learned: don't engage the event boss unless you're sure you've got enough
can beat
people
his
to kill
ass.
it. Okay, apply the desert
That's
potion.
badass.
And with
Dude, we
that
need to try
applied,
that.
we can now enter the Brimstone Sands without instantly getting ticked down to the sandstorm. Here it is, the
Okay.
entrance to the Brimstone Sands.
This is
the
what I did
great,
yesterday.
vast desert. Can we gather these cactus? Yes, with an axe. This thing here's a cool structure. Maybe it's a quest POI, an outdoor grind spot, or maybe even a dungeon. Wait, what? Yo, what? Does that just randomly pop up every now and again?
I feel like that's probably, like, that clip is probably what the most popular New World clip for every fucking streamer is like seeing that thing for the first time. I think that it should have a chance to spawn underneath you, and if it spawns underneath you, it just fucking eats you and you're dead. And it can happen out of nowhere. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no, you know, oh, maybe, like, it's like, you know, it actually just could eat you and you fucking die.
That's epic.
Or a
I wonder
zone
if you can
inside
fight
of it.
that
Yeah, it'd be
later.
crazy.
This new
I
zone
hope
is
so.
absolutely massive, and you don't really get a sense of the scale for the place until you've actually visited it and you're running from each of the towns. Visually, Brimstone Sands...
What he's saying there is that it takes a long time to run from each of the towns.
is already my favourite zone in the game. I love how the buildings look, the colours, the mob types. I really like that you can see this giant pyramid from pretty much anywhere in the zone, as well as these giant temples and statues that just kind of stick out. Super cool looking place visually. So, heading into another part of Brimstone Sands, and it's very cactusy. What are these little rolling creatures? They're kind of...
Bro, I saw an armadillo for the first time in my life yesterday. A wild fucking armadillo. I can't believe it. Like, why can't... Yeah, I actually saw it. I was like freaking out, man. Like, I wanted to go get it, but I'm like, there's no way you're gonna be able to get it. Like, I never seen a pet armadillo, right? Like, it was just sitting there. It was just walking around. It's like seeing a Pokemon. Because, like, you've got cats and dogs, and there's, like, a few other animals. But, like, when the fuck do you ever see, like, an armadillo? It was so crazy, man.
Cute. Armadillos. We skin them. Now approaching the main settlement of Brimstone Sands. I don't know what's going on with those mountain textures back there. That looks a little bit off. It's ruined any screenshot potential we've got here. Looks pretty cool. Obviously, without tons of players running around, it feels quite lifeless. Perhaps it needs more NPCs walking around. Onwards towards the pyramids to hopefully find a dungeon group.
Yeah, patrolling NPCs.
The closer I'm getting to this pyramid, the more epic it looks. Here it is, the entrance to the newest expedition.
Oh, wow.
Let's re-roll to healer, as that's what I'm most experienced in.
Did he do it? Yeah, I never did this.
So this is the new dungeon. Let's see how difficult it is. Probably not very with us all in max gear. Yo, dude just got one tapped. 100 to 0. And this is the first boss room. Okay, so the first boss is a giant scarab thing that fires lasers. Pretty cool. Probably don't want to stand in front of it, really. Watch out for these orbs that it's shooting.
This is cool.
People, when he jumps up in the air, you want to be ready to do big heals. Ooh.
That's not
Double laser. That was unlucky. You're a god if you can res me. Wow, what a play. Quite a fun boss, really. Not too complicated, lots of movement. I quite like how you've got this temple peak overlooking everything. I guess that's where the next boss is going to be. Boss number 2. Is that a giant tower shield? Oh god, he's summoned bigger mobs now. This is a tough boss. Might be one of the harder encounters I've had in this game as a healer. Nuke the boss. Oh my god, we got him. That was tough. Onwards we go. The final boss room, and what an epic boss room it is. Dude's explaining.
Bro, I probably should do this dungeon at some point. This actually looks pretty cool.
Boss mechanics, and it seems kind of complicated, but I guess we'll see. He's doing big damage. I'm going to stand back here behind the pillar. So apparently this melee is going to charge whoever's like furthest away. Here it is. He's going to charge. He's going to hit his head on that. Phase 1 down. Not bad. Let's go, team. But soon we're going to have phase 3, where we've got to do both phase 1 and 2 at the same time.
Wait, what?
Panicking a little bit. It gets a little bit chaotic. Everyone seems to be like topped up. Live. Oh god. Oh,
you're dead, right?
How am I not dead?
No, he's not.
Can? Have we done it? No way. First try. GG.
So New World added Ornstein and Smog. Alright. I'll take it. Sure. Seems good to me.
That was a good boss. Honestly, all of the bosses here were pretty good. Nice challenge as a healer. Lots of movement.
Too easy? I don't think that the game needs to be super fucking hard. Also, you have to keep in mind, these dungeons are probably tuned around like 605, 600 item level. And all of the people in the PTR that are doing this stuff have 625 legendary gear. Like solid 625 legendary gear, all of it. So it would make sense that it would look easy. That was on normal mode. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure the mutations would be a lot harder.
And cool mechanics. The mechanics weren't too complicated. They were all quite intuitive. Yeah. So that was the new dungeon with Brimstone Sands. Overall, pretty impressed. This video's got to be dragging on pretty long now, so I think that's going to wrap it up for my PTR coverage. So after returning to New World for the past few months, following the recent updates and checking out the PTR, do I think now is a good time to return? Yes, New World has solved a lot of the issues it had back at launch. The game is still absolutely zero pay to win, not even pay for convenience.
That's not true, because you have to pay for the game, and you can't win at the game if you don't buy the game. So, I mean, is it really not pay to win? I mean, think about it, man. What is this? Is he being hypocritical? He believed this.
The new expansion is completely free, and
Yeah.
the devs have been grinding away for an entire year making constant improvements to the game. I feel like the MMO community should show AGS some support and give New World another shot. As one, it's got one of the most fair business models in the MMO.
I love whenever people say the same thing that I say, because it reminds me that I was right for saying it. It's really good. I really like that. It feels so good.
Genre. Buy to play, free expansions, no convenience on the shop. 2. The devs didn't give up even after losing 98% of the player base at one point. And 3. Even if you don't stick around long term, jumping on the new expansion hype.
The thing is, like, Amazon Studios almost couldn't let New World fail. Because New World is actually not Amazon Game Studios' first L. It's their biggest L, but it's not their first L. And also, like, you have to keep in mind, New World as well is part of their whole new engine, which is like Lumberyard. So if they let New World fail, it's like it makes Amazon Game Studios look horrible, and it also makes the the engine less profitable, I would assume, right? People would probably be less likely to use it, and why would they, right? It's like the only thing that was made by it was New World, and New World sucked. So they were very, very vested in making sure that New World was good.
Fresh start servers will most likely be fun for a while at the very least. So there it is, New World in 2022. Perhaps my prediction about it being the next ESO could actually turn out to be true. The game has a long way to go, and the gameplay is still nowhere near as smooth and consistent as I'd like it to be, but
I love it whenever I say something like this is, I've been trying to tell people this for a while, but everybody was, the thing is, the first time that I said that things are getting a little bit better, everybody was like, yeah, nice try, Baldy. No, we're not coming back. And then finally now, after like 5 different fucking times, finally now people start to see the light.
You gotta respect progress.
Ego Andy.
What do you think
You're
about
not
New
wrong.
World? Are you going to give the game another shot for the Brimstone
You're
Sands
not wrong.
expansion and leveling revamp? What else would you like to see changed? Shout out to AFK Arena for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to click the link in the description below to download the game. Social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Aw, that's a good video. I thought that was really well done. What did you guys think? Did you guys like that one? I liked it a lot. I thought that was fair. What are your thoughts on Pays Cosmetics and cosmetics in general? I think that I wish that every game didn't have any cosmetics, and the only thing the game had was you bought the game and then you paid a subscription and you could just play the game. I do think that free-to-play games are the future because there's just such a smaller barrier to entry for them, and that's what we're probably going to see. I'm not saying this is... it's me saying that they are the future doesn't mean that I want that to be the case. You see what I'm saying? So, yes, obviously that is the case. I think that more and more companies are going to start doing free-to-play games, and overall, if you want to look at the spectrum of ethical to unethical microtransactions with, I guess you could say, Vampire Survivors on one end of the spectrum and Diablo Immortal on the other, I think that New World is definitely much more ethical. Like, it is phenomenally more ethical. It is way, way better than the other ones. Yeah, but there are differences between full price and monthly and free, you see? Yeah, I think that, like, in general, if you're paying a sub for a game, the game shouldn't have cosmetics in it as well. I feel like that's like what happens with WoW. Is like WoW and like Final Fantasy, like, what do you mean like you need cosmetics in this game too? Like, you're buying the game, you're paying a sub, you're buying expansions, but like you like, it's more money also. Like, holy fuck, man. But yeah, at least it doesn't have pay to win. Asmon, you're trending on Twitter. Yeah, it's about time. Let's see here. Real meritocracy like an MMO should be. Well, I don't think that... I think that MMOs... A meritocracy in MMOs is not... It's a fantasy. Because most of the people that you're competing against, if you're talking about meritocracy, are not on the same playing field as you. So for example, if you're like a 19-year-old NEET, you have a just advantage over a 44-year-old dad with a job. Like, he's never gonna beat you. You're always gonna be ahead of him, and it has nothing to do with the game. So all of the ideas that people have about it being a meritocracy, I mean, like, meritocracies in general, there are always usually limits to meritocracies that if you look at outside influences on them, that nothing is ever truly a meritocracy. But I know what you're saying, and I do think video games provided that, and it is a good thing. So I just want to say that this is not entirely true, but the essence of it is something that people want. Does that make sense? Meritocracy is in general or fantasy? I think that it depends on really what it is, but there's nothing that's really fair. I think that's just the reality to it. 20 for the game, 20 for the expansion seems fair. Why not pay that? Yeah, I think that's okay too. It's not true. One of the RuneScape 3 players I have as a dad is a full-time job. Oh yeah, no, there are. And like, definitely. But I think that in general, if you're younger, you have less responsibilities in life. And like, even having a better computer, things like that, more time to play the game. Time is also a resource. Time is money, friend, right? And I think that's very, very accurate. It's incredibly accurate. I think that more and more people are getting older and that played MMOs growing up, and they're starting to see that, you know, you fall behind. It's like if you can't play the game all the time. That's life. That's the way it goes. It's not a bad thing, but it's just the way it goes. And that's where I think the meritocracy idea is still an idea. But of course, it's more of a meritocracy than real life. Let's be honest with that too, okay? So it is certainly better than that. Let's see, came back beginning of this month. Did I say don't regret it? I've enjoyed my time. A lot of people have been being pretty positive about this. Yeah, LazyPeon's been making videos about New World for as long as I have. So if you care about his content and coverage, I would absolutely recommend checking him out. He makes very good content. I like it a lot.